All right. Welcome to another pre-recorded episode of Automation Ladies. It is June, but we may actually have this conversation come out in season 4, which should be sometime later this year. And if you're listening to this way later, it's 2024. But yes, we are getting close to end of our recording season here for season 3. We've hit 31 episodes in season 3 already somehow, Allie. I had no idea.
That's awesome.
Our team is telling us it's time to take a break. But we love what we do. We get to talk to so many great people in the industry that it's very hard to pump the brakes on having these conversations. So I'm very excited to today kind of hopefully leave most of the talking again to Allie. And our wonderful guest today, Michael. How do you pronounce your name? I should stop doing it because I might do it wrong. We should just ask you on air. Can you pronounce your name for us?
Yeah, at first, thank you very much that you invite me to your podcast. So, my surname, I pronounce it Grollmus. Yeah,
Okay.
Grollmus.
Grollmus?
But I think it's quite easy. So you call me Michael, and then you don't have the challenge with my surname.
Yeah, so I did that with Kathy Rinney for many years, thinking I just never said her last name, and then it took me 2 years to realize I was saying it wrong. So now I try to just confront that challenge head on,
Yeah.
so I don't end up in that
situation.
Rinney? It's Rinney. Both of us were getting it wrong.
Wow.
Yeah, and I also learned not to take my cues on how to say names from Allie because
Okay.
I don't always get
I'm
them
in
right
the
either.
sauces too. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Grollmus, but yeah, Grollmus. Okay.
Yeah. But for me, names for me are also a very big challenge. So this is also one thing because I love industry automation because there are deep in it 1 and 0, and I don't have to spell any names. This is one reason because I love it.
Yeah, no room for interpretation there. Right? It's a universal language. Yeah. And where are you, Michael?
Well, I'm in Germany, quite in the middle of Germany, near Frankfurt.
Okay.
Also a big city in Germany. It's Mainz, but I think it's not so international like Frankfurt. So I think Munich, Frankfurt, Hamburg, these are the cities. Everybody knows when you talk about Germany. Yeah. Or Nuremberg, the SPS fair, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
The Hanover fair. Yeah.
Hanover, right? Yeah.
Of course.
Are you near a lot of manufacturing where you are in Germany?
I think we have a lot of manufacture around us. The nearest pharmacy, Boehringer Ingelheim, Sanofi, Aventis, but also car manufacturers. So you have a lot of factories, plants around you in Germany, because Germany also is a quite small country. Instead of so it's everything is near, instead of the US. It's a little bit different, so you have short ways.
How long does it take to get to like Siemens headquarters?
So to Nuremberg, I think it's about a little bit over 3 hours with the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many times have you been there?
Sometimes, not so often. My brother is there quite often because they create the tier selection tool for Siemens, and so they have a lot of meetings with Siemens. We are a partner, but I'm not so often in Nuremberg. But I visit in Frankfurt the Siemens. Siemens in Frankfurt.
Office.
Yeah, the office there, and so I think every 2 months I visit a Siemens
location.
Office, or a little bit a small fair. So we talk a lot with Siemens, or Siemens come also to us, and we talk about new stuff and so on. Yeah. So this is also one of the challenge that we knew, the newest things which are already there from Siemens and which will come in the future, so that we can say our customers, okay, well, maybe have a look at this part, go this way because the future will come, and then you can use the new function, use the new benefits. Last week I have a call with one of Siemens promoter for the new S7 1200. So he explained me what's new in the new hardware, and I hope at the end of the year I will have one of the new controller on my desk.
Nice.
Because Ali, I see it in your background there. There's a S7
Yes, I got some
1200.
1500, 1200. I was gonna ask you, do you do any work with Backoff?
Yes. Also, I'm not a Backoff expert, but we have experts for Backoff. Backoff is a grown-up PLC manufacturer, and so I think if you work in Germany with industry automation, then you have to handle with Backoff. Also in the future.
And KUKA, even though now that's Chinese?
KUKA, interesting question. Yeah. KUKA comes from the car manufacturer VW. VW built KUKA, then KUKA split to an own factory, to an own company. And I think 4 or 5 years ago, a Chinese holding by KUKA, and so now it's Chinese.
But still manufactured in Germany, or did they move production over to China? Do you know? Not that you need to be the KUKA spokesperson here, but
it depends. It depends which kind. So I think everyone knows German cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best cars. Just kidding. They're very good cars.
It depends. Yeah, it depends what you look for. But there's a big challenge in Germany for the car manufacturers. Also, every manufacturer which needs a high energy, because the energy costs are very high in Germany. But we also get new manufacturers from pharma industry. I think Lilly Ellie is. I think it's American.
Eli Lilly.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's it. They built a complete new plant factory on a greenfield. So some goes away, some comes new. I think it's every time the same game. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ali, now I'm going to interrupt you and start by asking our standard question so we can get this conversation into somewhat of our format. That's okay. So, Michael, can you give us an introduction to yourself and your background and kind of how you came to be in this industry, what you're doing now? Because we really like to hear people's interesting stories, because I think when most of us started back in the day, there wasn't, and this may have been different in Germany, but at least here in the US, there isn't really a career path to controls engineering. It kind of happens to people at some point in their careers. So if you can give us a little backstory and introduction to yourself, and then maybe kind of end at like what your company does today, what you do, and then we'll have probably plenty of questions when the time comes.
Yeah, spoiler alert, he has a company.
Okay. So the truth is, there was no other chance for me. Yeah, because my father has his company. I was born in, and no, just kidding. I also can do something else, but I was a little child. Then I grew up with technical. My father loved technical, and we play with the technical. When I was a teenager, I earned a little bit money to help in the company, to work with S7, S5, yeah, the old stuff.
You have Siemens in your blood.
Yeah, but
that's cool.
I have no other choice. Yeah,
that's cool.
But I love it, and there was a point where I decided I want to be one of one of an expert, so that's someone like you invite me to a podcast, and then I can tell about my knowledge about it, and well, it grows up. I learned that I'm good in it, and people say, "Oh, you're good. You can explain us." Also, I have a great chance because there was a company. My brother also worked in the company. We do this together, and also it's a great chance because in industry automation you can earn good money, and so
Oh yeah.
you love it, you earn good money, you like it, so why should I do something else? Yeah, the only thing it's a little bit special when I talk to the family, when I want to explain my kids or my
They're like,
wife or my friends, what are you doing, what's this?
yeah.
uh
It just goes like this. Woo!
yeah. So I always,
They're just like, that sounds so boring.
yeah,
I had a guy say that. He saw my hat and it said process and controls engineering, and his comment was, that's that's so boring. And I was just like, well, maybe to you, but like, for me it's how I eat.
Yeah, that's true. I always try to explain. There's a Coca-Cola. Do you know how the Coke comes into the bottle? No, it's in the supermarket, and I can buy it, and then, yeah. And but there's so much stuff behind it, yeah. And this is the thing. I love it. It's also so different kinds. You sometimes you need a screwdriver when you open a cabinet control. Then you need your laptop to do software. Right now, I work a lot of industrial networks, cybersecurity. There's so a lot of stuff. One thing I have to tell, I was invited from the German military for the biggest NATO training for cybersecurity, to consult the German military for the training, because in the training scenario there was an S7 1200 which simulates energy plants, and I have to secure this and well, to protect it for hacker.
And help them hack it.
I was
Help
blue
them
team.
hack it so that you can protect it.
Yeah,
So that you can protect it.
well,
With the idea that
I was part of the blue team, yeah, to protect it against the red team, yeah, and this are things. Well, they are so great, so I can tell I was a part of the biggest NATO cybersecurity training, and well, this is one thing, or one other things why I love industry automation. Yeah.
I'm going to chime in with a little personal story here. My dad, so I grew up in Iceland. My dad's he's an electrical engineer. He's a controls engineer, but has never worked with like PLCs like Siemens and stuff. He does microcontrollers. Because he started working for an OEM and built the control system for their little machine and so on. But at the time that he was doing that, back in the late 90s, I guess, or in the 90s, they were starting to do telemetry, wireless telemetry, and monitoring weather stations and monitoring fishing vessels. And so remote monitoring was kind of starting up at that time. And so he was able to go at I think it was EU Fisheries Commission that was trying to implement some technology, standardize something to where they could track the boats and their safety and different things like that. And so my dad got invited to be part of some EU commission or some sort of cooperation like this NATO thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he represented Iceland, or maybe some of the telco companies he was working with, his employer, or something of that nature. But that's actually what got him in touch with Rakel, which is a UK company, then ended up hiring him to the UK and then bringing us to the US.
Nice.
So being involved in controls and these multinational kind of cooperations around standards or things that are critical in our world, if you get involved in those sorts of things, it can, lead to great opportunities. And in our case, I don't know that we would have ever moved to the US if it hadn't been for my dad being involved in that sort of situation. These emerging technologies. He's also an engineer that was found to be good at explaining things to non-engineers, which is a huge skill set, I think, to be able to teach and customer facing when you also know what's going on behind the scenes.
But I think it's also a good example that the knowledge opens the door in the whole world.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And this is also one thing I fight for. Also, I share my knowledge. Only, of course, I earn money with it. But also, it's a kind of mission. So there is in Germany you say if knowledge is the only thing you share and you don't get a half, you double it.
That's a good saying. Translate it to English is a little. I had to think about that for a second.
Okay, maybe then you can later you can give me the right translation.
Can you say it in German?
Wissen ist das Einzige, was sich verdoppelt, wenn du es teilst.
Okay. AI can translate that for us. Speaking listeners, which I'm sure we have a few. We've definitely met quite a few Germans here in the US. The manufacturing sector, of course, is a strong knowledge transfer mechanism, I guess, between our great nations. Yeah, and I've worked for 2 German companies here in the US.
And I love so many German companies. I was going to ask you a spicy question, and we can debate taking it out later, but
no, you have to ask.
Yeah, does anyone in Germany use Alan Bradley on purpose?
Yeah, only if they have to.
But what's an instance of having to? Is there such thing? Oh, maybe a customer from outside of Germany wants to maintain their own style? Is that the only real reason why?
Yeah, the normal thing is there is an US company which comes to Germany, and in US they use Rockwell automation, and then you have to use it in Germany also. And some years later, somebody goes to the control cabinet, threw it out, and built
Siemens in or back
Siemens or something, and European one, yeah. But the question, I like the question because I also want to make the question like this. So how many manufacturers use Siemens or Beckhoff in US?
So very little, but it's growing. And I think that's kind of what Siemens is very interested in, growing that as much as possible in the US. They know that we have our standard as Alan Bradley and Rockwell. But there are a lot of companies that have got upset. Perhaps for different reasons, maybe licensing, maybe this or that. And so they have converted. And so I have heard, even we could ask Alicia Lomas. I think she converted an entire, I forgot, maybe it's a yogurt line, but from Alan Bradley to Siemens in the United States. So, I mean, it is a thing. And as much, I mean, we're big enough and we have stuff from everywhere. So we have Japanese PLCs, we have Korean PLCs. I work with, Korean PLC manufacturers. So we do have so much extra coming in that it is a open market. And even though we do kind of have, a winner of that market, which is an American manufacturer, and so they are the strongest in North America, that doesn't mean that and that a lot of companies aren't moving, but also just machinery that comes from another place. If you buy a German machine, unless you pay them really good to upgrade to the Alan Bradley you want, you may just take it with the Siemens that's in there. And we do have, that's the second most common programmer in the US. I mean, obviously, everyone can service Allen Bradley here, like our engineers. But a lot of our engineers, maybe like 30%, can service Siemens.
Okay.
So it's just, but that's the selling point that like hurts Siemens is there's a lot less people to service it. Where you are, there's no one to service Allen Bradley, so you might be worth some money in Germany as an Allen Bradley person. But like if you know Siemens, that doesn't matter. But you come here, Siemens like can make you good money because there's a lot of places that do have it. But I've also heard in the past that people that are experts at Rockwell and Allen Bradley, when they take on Siemens projects, they usually lose money. Okay. So it's traditionally, because they don't have all that experience, like unless it's someone who's successfully executed multiple Siemens projects, you end up with people losing money. And then the other issue that has always been talked about in the US against Siemens is the support. So I bet in Germany the support is really good, but outside of Germany, because there isn't as many places in the US to even support that, they would call and they just don't get help. And so that becomes a very negative to the customers where, you know, obviously you have a really good product and you can't argue against that. And the other thing that Siemens did that I know that Rockwell doesn't want to do is you know, they when they redid TIA Portal, they went and asked, you know, the integrators and the programmers, what do you want? What would make you like this more or make it easier for whatever? So they got feedback from the integrators and from the programmers and yeah, so I wish more companies would do that because I don't feel that Rockwell does that as often as they could, but at the same time, Rockwell's still committed to the success of, you know, its American partners. But yeah, there's definitely, you know, they don't want to admit that, but like every now and then they'll lose a deal and they'll just not a new plant may not be put in with Allen Bradley because, and that might be Siemens.
Yeah.
And yeah, even their DCS, PCS7, even me in the US, like, have been trained on PCS7, so that means something.
Yeah.
Even though I've never executed a project on that, so that's my long-winded answer for that. Sorry.
so also it's the answer is missing of knowledge, and also support for the manufacturing.
So we actually, one of our earliest episodes in season 1, we talked with Aaron Prather. He now works for ASTM International, which is a standards organization for robotics, but at the time he was at FedEx. And he mentioned that, for instance, they executed a large project that they had in the US was all Allen Bradley, and in Europe they spec'd all Siemens because they needed their local technicians and plant, you know, people to be able to support the stuff.
Yeah.
And here we still have it's harder to find a Siemens distributor and one that has a lot of expertise and a lot of knowledge and a lot of capacity, as well as just technicians that are trained on it.
Okay, so I have to come to US to solve this problem.
Yes, come and I'll help you.
Okay, well, I go and ask my wife.
Ask her if she wants to.
So okay, I don't answer, so I don't think so that I will come to you.
Come on over.
But it's quite interesting. So it's a thing of the national. So in America, Allen Bradley, in Europe, Siemens, but also Schneider Electrics, also in Africa. Schneider is very big. If you go to Asia, especially China, there's Siemens also very big a business, and of course the Japanese Mitsubishi and so on. They have also a lot of experience with their own controllers and so on.
Siemens makes like PLCs just for China that they don't sell outside of China. But those machines end up in the US anyway. So we either take it out or like translate the Chinese symbols inside because it's like an N7 300 or something. Like we see those randomly. We're like, what is this? So yeah, they're not supposed to leave, but they have a hard time keeping it from leaving.
Yeah, and I think to solve this problem, I think standardization. Yeah, and there's also one thing I want to talk about to you, maybe OPC UA. Yeah, so I love OPC UA because it doesn't depend which vendor you use. It works with, I also think, with Rockwell, or so this I don't know.
Everyone, including
Okay,
Rockwell.
okay, perfect. Yeah, and so
It does.
yeah,
You can.
well, and this is one thing I love OPC UA because it's simple, it works, it doesn't matter which kind of controller you use, and I think this is also one thing for the future. Yeah, so every customers I ask, how do you get your information out of your PLC? And they say, yeah, well, I use this, I program this, and I use this, and I say, no, please use OPC UA. This is the future. Yeah, maybe in the future we go to the field level where we use the field bus technology. Maybe OPC UA TSN in the future. We have only one field bus for every controller, but we will see what the future will bring.
Do you have any other future predictions or trends that you're seeing that you think are going to take hold?
Well, there are so, or I think the biggest challenge is that there are so many challenges, so that you find people to solve the challenges a little bit. And I see it in Germany, especially, or in Europe. I think maybe you have the same problems to find employees. It's very, very, very hard. Every customer I talk, we look for maintenance guys, for programming guys. Do you know what a PLC is? Perfect. Here you can start tomorrow. Yeah,
You're hired.
yeah. A little bit in this way, and I think this is the biggest challenge. And then communication, yeah, to get data, but to get the right data, yeah, because if you have data and you have many data, well, you need the right data. Also for the future AI, well, we will see what happens. Also to use AI to generate code, it's also a big thing, but it only works with standardization. And I know it from Siemens, from the customers, there is no standardization, and then AI would not be worked. Yeah,
Right.
the big car manufacturers, well, they have a good standardization. BMW, for example, they're very good in it, and they work really near together with Siemens, also to develop a new function for the TIA portal. And so there are so many things for the future. Cybersecurity is a big thing. If you look to the wars in the Near East, the infrastructure, water supply in the Ukraine, there is a new kind of war. And so you have to do something in your cybersecurity. Well, I have but it's a German YouTube channel. There I show some hacks, how you hack an S7. It's so
Cool.
easy. Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not good, but that's cool.
But I also show the solutions. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. There you go.
Yeah.
So I actually was in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago, and I don't watch TV at home. Like we have Netflix on the TV and apps, but I don't have just regular television with like commercials and news. So I turned on the TV in my hotel room, and it was the local news on. And one of the first stories that came up was a warning from the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency here in the US, about a string of recent cyber attacks on water utilities. And by Russian-speaking hackers is how they put it. So I think they were trying to say it's the Russians, but we have no proof, but we know that they speak Russian. I don't know. I don't get into politics, and of course we can't, But that was just the local news, and it said this warning study from the EPA says that at least 70% of U.S. water utilities are woefully unprepared for this kind of thing. And I'm not sure if these hackers are really, if it's warfare in this case, or it's just ransoming or whatever, right? But the utilities are a huge target. And I think, it's kind of obvious, like they're underfunded, they're outdated, they're critical. They're critical to people's health and safety and wellness and industry and everything. Like if our water supply goes out, I would say most of our manufacturing also goes out. So does, almost everything else.
But it's most of the time it's quite easy. The one question I ask my customers is, do you have a password on your PLC?
Yeah.
And I think over 80% said no, and the other 20% yes, but it's every time the same, or so
1, 2, 3, 4.
like this. They didn't use password management tools, for their OT infrastructure, and it's so easy, to solve this problem, but this is the kind where we are right now, and the low fruits, where we have to start.
Yeah, low-hanging fruits, right?
Yeah.
I just saw a video from our friend Dave Garcia at ICOMTech. He sells some cybersecurity, like OT equipment, and he was just mentioning he had this conversation with the customer, and he was bringing up this cybersecurity features like, hey, have you looked at the latest of this switch, right? Rather than buying the legacy model of managed switch, have you looked at this one that includes, cybersecurity features? And his customer said, and it was probably a systems integrator or something. And he said, no, my customer doesn't care. And he said, oh, do you guys not discuss this? And he's like, yeah, well, the password is password. And the admin is like, they don't even use it as a managed switch. They just rip, like if something breaks, they replace it. They're not thinking about it. When it does come up, they avoid the issue.
Yeah.
So I really don't know how, in the scenario of, right, it's those people running the plant day to day. They don't have budget. They don't have time. Bringing the issue to them without an immediate resolution
protection
that doesn't cost money, probably, they're not going to have time for it. But it's kind of a scary situation.
The one thing is time, the other thing is knowledge. Also, there are so many old Windows versions. Everybody say never change a running system. Don't touch it. It works. And time, money, but also the knowledge. This is a big thing. And for the knowledge, we work on a solution. We create for the industry automation a knowledge platform, a training platform, especially for the industry automation. And
is that in English too?
Yeah, we created in German and English.
Cool. Cool.
And for the especially for Siemens and Backoff, and one or maybe you know Udemy, the learning platform. The problem, or not the problem, but on Udemy you get like on YouTube you get videos, you get PDFs, you get files to download. But for Siemens there's one challenge. If you want to train with TIA Portal, you have to install it. You need a license. For some basic things, you can use a trial license, but for other things, there is no trial license available. And here's the idea that we have virtual machines with digital twins to train. You only need a browser where you can use the virtual machine and to work with the twin, to train with the twin. And this is one thing we are right now to start. So
Cool.
so maybe you also will find the next month some information by LinkedIn.
Okay,
That's
well, please keep
exciting.
us up to date, because
Yeah.
by the time we air this episode, you might already have it out. And so we can add it to you can update your guest profile also on automationladies.io with links to any of this stuff. So listeners, if you're hearing this and it's way past June, then we may have links in our show notes to where you can actually find this training platform. If it's not public yet, right? Do you have a teaser or a website where people can sign up for like a waiting list or anything like that?
Yeah, it's skillwork.io.
Skilled or skills?
Skill, like the skills to have the skill and work.io. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
skillwork.io.
Yeah.
Skillwork.io.
Yeah, and maybe this will solve the solution for the missing knowledge in US for Siemens and maybe for Beckhoff. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that captures a little bit. I would be surprised, though, if aging water utilities would be running, any of them would be running on Siemens or Beckhoff. But you never know. I don't know what's installed
Siemens,
everywhere out there.
yes. Beckhoff, no.
Yeah.
Siemens, maybe, because different skids, again, you never know
where they came
when
from.
you're going to get a skid that came from Germany.
Yeah.
Or just Europe. But I guess I'm like, I used to work for a Probat Verka. They do coffee. And they make coffee roasters. And so they have the US version of it, Probat USA, and they just used so many German companies. That's how I learned about all the German automation companies there are, and there's so many.
Yeah.
And even in the beginning, like we were using Phoenix Contact as part of our standard.
So
and then I learned about Wazo.
You use the PLCs from them also?
Not their PLCs.
Okay.
Just everything else in the panel, like, was Phoenix Contact. And then you just shove Allen Bradley in there.
Okay.
But the first time I saw like those push-in connectors, and I really loved that, those terminal blocks, those famous terminal blocks, Mur Electronic.
Yeah.
There's just so many, like Festo, KUKA. Yeah, just really cool companies that make amazing products, and all come from Germany.
Yeah, and in Germany we have a lot of we call it the hidden champions. Yeah. And also in industry automation, Balluff, SICK sensors. There are so many, and well, I think they have very, very good products. Well, but also, of course, I think Keyence is US or Keyence
is Japanese.
Japanese. Okay, yeah. But so of course you have worldwide, but I think it's for German, it's something special that we are very good in this.
Yeah, and it makes sense, as you have been a powerhouse manufacturer for, I guess the limited history that I know. Makes sense that you would be on the forefront of developing products for smart manufacturing, because you're using them. And then of course you have a lot of expertise and just a huge emphasis always on engineering. And I think you guys have done a much better job of emphasizing the value of manufacturing as a profession, as a career, versus the US has kind of played the manufacturing is for people that aren't smart enough to go to college.
Okay.
Kind of card
we wrecked
for a
ourselves.
long time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then people go to engineering school to be engineers, but they don't really know what all of the different engineering jobs that are available are, especially within manufacturing, because I don't know why we keep all of our plants very secret. Like you said, your friend, he just buys Coca-Cola from the grocery store and has no idea how it's made, how the bottle's filled. Like, why don't we all grow up knowing that? I don't understand, like, why how things are made is so secret.
I think
you don't have to give away the secret recipe to show a bottle being filled and how cool that is.
Well, I think if you ask a little boy what will he be in the future, policeman, fireman.
Yeah.
If I ask yeah, if I asked my daughter, then she said something with horses. Yeah. And I also tried to say industry automation, and they said, "Ah, Dad, that's boring. Don't tell me about this." Yeah. So it's
My 6-year-old daughter, on the other hand, desperately wants to be an engineer like Allie.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 6.
Okay. Okay. So my daughter is 7.
horses.
I didn't. Yeah.
She could do
I
horse
tried.
automation though. We could get her hooked up with video
Yeah, so
edits, and she
my
could
dad
do.
actually
Yeah,
my dad worked on a project to upgrade the control system of a horse training machine that
Yeah.
is like a water treadmill for
there we go.
horses.
That she gets horses all
Yeah.
day. She's got to do
Yeah.
testing.
I
But
also.
I think the truth is, though, people should. I just want to make sure they know this is an option, and then they can choose horses or nursing or whatever they want. Right? Not everybody's going to want to do this, but most people are not going to want to do it if they have no idea that it even exists.
Oh, of course. I also repair a running machine for horses where was a Siemens PLC inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
also make a little HMI with unicorns. Yeah, to show her. Look, you
Yeah.
can manufacture unicorns in this machine. Yeah, but it was enough for
Yeah.
her to decide this. But yeah, well, it's also right. It's so hidden. Yeah, you didn't see what's behind, and well, another thing is if I look to software developers for other systems, they earn more money
Yeah,
than a software developer for PLC systems, and I think if you look at the whole thing, because it's you need more than to develop software for the PLC. You have to know the process. You have to know
Design.
how to work. Design,
Startup.
control cabinet. So there's for me often the question: why is there so a pay gap between?
Yeah.
But I have no answer.
And
I think it's the market.
that's on our side too. Everyone wants to work for Google, Apple, all of the, Facebook, the big whatever, FANG, and yeah, like we don't pay as much on this other side. So if you can make it as that, the only issue is that it's volatile. So there's always layoffs. And so you can have this amazing job and then it's gone, and then maybe you can get another one and maybe you can't. Whereas right now, automation, you can't not have a job just for trying, which is, kind of sad because we need people to be good at what we're doing, but we don't have the people and we can't pay them. So if they don't want to be working for Facebook or Apple or Netflix or Google, we have the same issue basically. Like there's more lucrative jobs. So how are we going to get all these people to come hang out with us when there's technically you could do less work for more money?
Yeah.
Okay. So
even IT can pay better, and you can do all that remotely. You don't need as much of field skills, because to be an effective controls engineer, you need a lot more than just being able to program a PLC. You have to understand what you're programming and why and what it connects to, and then being able to troubleshoot that. So I think, once you kind of get hooked on the glory, you can oftentimes overlook some of the downsides. But how do we advertise this or promote it as an industry that is attractive over other options? That's a hard sell, from the get-go, I think, because like Ali said, and I think the last couple of decades have been very interesting, because there are people that grew up that saw these dream jobs at, let's say, Google, right? They started off with the whole trend of, giving you lots and lots of perks, because they want you on site all the time. So they're like, well, you don't have to worry about your laundry or your dog or your pet or your kids or anything else. We'll take care of it. You just come and work all day long. There's a certain, I guess, appeal to that fun work environment and, whatever. Of course, it's like extreme pressure too, but that's a whole lot more attractive from the outside than showing somebody, a guy like hunched over a bucket for 14 hours in a dark manufacturing plant that doesn't get a ping pong table or free drinks or free lunch while they're doing it, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I know the payment is no reason to come to US. It's not better than in Europe for a PhD programmer. Okay.
I think again though, the
you
US
can
is
demand
very
more money.
large.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I have to talk with Siemens. Maybe.
Yeah, you can be like, I don't do Allen Bradley. You guys can get your Allen Bradley people wherever you want, but I can do Siemens, like German style Siemens. So what do you want? You want or what?
But also in Europe, it's also a big difference if you work for the process industry. Yeah. If you use a PCS7, yeah, there's a different that you earn. Well,
more
I
money.
think, of course, more. Yeah.
PCS is more expensive. Yeah. If you do machine PLC stuff, that's never going to make as much money as plant controls or DCS or because it's a higher liability, so everything is just pay scale up. Just because everything's insured different, like everything is just such a different money amount that's lost when mistakes are made. Small mistakes, huge mistakes. So yeah.
Yeah, but I also program or work with PCS7. Yeah, it's 15 years ago. Yeah, but I know it's quite easier. Yeah, to.
Are you even 50 years old right now?
No, but I was born in. Yeah.
Yeah, his experience started at 0, like Lauren Ray. Like I quit how many years of experience I have to my age, because he doesn't say born into it. She says it's a curse on her bloodline. But either way, yeah, you kind of started way before most people.
So, but I have no other chance. Yeah, my father said I have to do this, and I do every time what my parents said. Yeah, no, just kidding. Well, but it's.
Did you ever like leave and try something else and come back, or did you stay kind of in the family business?
I study electronic and automation. And then I work 2 years for 2 different companies.
Okay.
And there was not clear that I come back to the company of my father, but there was a time when I worked 80 hours a week, and the payment was, well, not so good, and I learned a lot of, and I said, okay, well, now I'm ready to go to the family company. I saw the automation world, yeah, and now I have the experience to do the family business.
Cool.
Yeah. I see that, like, a lot of successful people that work in family business, they'll go elsewhere first because it gives you some perspective. It gives you outside experience.
Yeah.
It's less than or I guess different than just kind of staying in that environment and then not making a choice, right? Like, you made a choice to go back because you felt like it was a good fit. And I respect that. I think that my dad kicked me out when I graduated from college. I worked for him from middle school to college, and then he said, I can't afford you, and go get some experience. And then we work together now on this and that, but like I don't work for him full time, which is great. But I can imagine you went and worked for some strangers and didn't, you put in 80 hours of work, and you realized at the end of the day who was making the money.
Yeah.
And then you kind of come to realization, like some of us, well, if I'm going to work that hard, at least it should be for me or people that I care about, or, something like that, right? Because it is hard to be in this industry, I think, and like work a straight 9 to 5, like easy.
Yeah, if you at the plant, it's commissioning time. Yeah, you can only go home when the plant is running. Yeah, and there's a lot of pressure. Yeah, and then you chat with your friends at the weekend. So we go to play soccer. Yeah, and well, I'm in a nice factory. No, it's not nice, and I have to finish my work, and well,
We're not doing a great job selling it. I'll also say, like, so many
yeah.
places that
But I love the same thing. So it's like, why are we just broken? Like, there is got to be.
what's wrong with us?
There's got to be a way to describe like why we're so fulfilled, even though we're not making, the Facebook money.
Yeah.
Even though you can make the Facebook money, but you have to have your own business.
For me, I think it's something about the fact that we literally make the world go round. Like, the stuff that we do matters. I mean, Facebook and all that is cool, but like, that's different ways of spending our time, that like our leisure time, not actually making the world run the way that everybody like the
if
basic
all we have is
stuff that
Facebook, we
everybody
will
needs is
start
what
a
we work
dance.
on.
Well, or in automation technology, if you're an expert, then you can make the rules. Yeah, then you say no. At the weekend, I didn't work. Yeah, and
That's true. You worked your way up to that.
yeah, I think this is the key. Yeah, this was also every time the key also for me. Yeah, I'm an expert. If you want something from me, then we make it from my rules. And
Yeah.
but to come to this is also hard work. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can demand that, but only after you've proven something, and to prove it, that's all the work that you had to put in to get to a point where they're like, okay, we need him. He's the only one. There isn't anyone else because we've already tried other people because he was not available and we failed miserably. We need him. So that's who you want to be. You want to be that person, but you also, a lot of people overexert themselves and, deliver, what is it? If you pull miracles, then people will start expecting that as your job. So you shouldn't regularly pull miracles, even though you maybe could. You should do that unless the people that are requiring that from you are going to give you more for being able to do that. And to not expect it, or to expect it but not from just one person, because you're going to burn the people out. So it's like, okay, you can pull a miracle this one time, but the next one has to be on somebody else because we need to give this person like a full recovery of the shit you just made them do.
How much of what you do now is like training and supporting other people versus doing things yourself?
Yeah. So you mean our company or myself?
Yourself.
Okay. So you mean what I do in my daily business?
Yeah, I guess I'm assuming that your career has evolved from like doing a lot of the work yourself to now you're creating tools and training people, and you're the subject matter expert, right? So you get that say. You don't have to work on the weekend or late at night. Do you still do some actual, programming or something, of that nature for your company, or have you more so moved into educating or managing or that sort of thing?
So sometimes I have to do the managing part, but this is not the part which I love. Yeah? I love the technical part. I love to create trainings. I love to try new stuff in industry automation, to play around, to create videos for YouTube channel, or also for LinkedIn. To look what's new at the market, and we are in the training business, so we provide in Germany and Austria and Switzerland trainings. Also, we do trainings international for big companies. Then we do it online. Or sometimes we also had a training for a big steel company in Texas, where we put every equipment together and fly over to US. We also do this in China, but this is special, and this is because we are, I think, one of the company with the best and deepest experience in Siemens automation. Sometimes we know more than Siemens. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're out there, more directly, I guess, touching it,
Yeah.
working with
Yeah.
customers, that sort of thing.
Also, Siemens asked us, what's new? How can we develop things? We talked there with Siemens, and well, I think this is the key, that I don't have to work at the weekend, but I also do it because I love it.
Yeah. It's pretty hard once you get like to this point, I guess, like we do. There's so much information to learn. There's so much stuff to try. Like we have our things we have to do and then the things we like to do. And I personally have a hard time shutting it off as well. There's especially now, there's just so much development going on so fast. I tried for the longest time, like the last 3 years, to kind of ignore the AI and all this hype kind of stuff and focus on like what people are really doing. But then it's really, that gap is really closing faster than, maybe not faster than I expected, but faster than we've seen in the past. So it's becoming more and more important to stay on top of some of the new stuff.
Yeah.
So we are coming up on time. So I will ask, unless there's something specific that we didn't talk about that you would love to make sure that we mention, I would like to hear from you, I guess. Where can people follow you? You already mentioned like YouTube, but tell us kind of what the names of your channels are, if people can connect with you or follow you on LinkedIn. And then your company, where people can, if there are companies here in the US that need more Siemens training for their people, can they contact you guys? Can you do that with them online? Obviously you can come here and train. Tell us a little bit more about that so that our US audience can engage with you if they want to learn more or follow you or get trained by you guys.
Yeah, sure. So I already said our new platform. Well, there I will share the link. Of course, I also said to LinkedIn. So follow my profile, and well, our YouTube channel, just put in the search Grollmus. Yeah, then you will find our channel. The only thing, it's in German, but the screencast we do it in English. But then you have to translate it with the AI. But today it's not so big problem. Well, and if you need trainings, well, in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, there are our offices. And well, I also said it, we do it online, also in English. We do it for each Siemens topic, also for back-off topics. Visit our website. We also have an English site, so grollmus.de. And well, there will you find all information, or just send me a message on LinkedIn. I am every day online at LinkedIn. I also thank you very much to you both. We also get the connection about LinkedIn, so this is also a great platform. Yeah.
It sure is. And I doubt anybody that listens to this podcast isn't on LinkedIn and didn't find us through LinkedIn, because that's pretty much the only place we are. But if you somehow stumbled across this podcast from somewhere other than LinkedIn, that's kind of, where we congregate at the moment. I've been asking people, actually, one follow-up question, Michael. Aside from LinkedIn, is there a forum or a website or a community or anywhere else that you find yourself and your community or your customers sharing knowledge or making connections, that sort of thing?
Well, we decided to go to focus on LinkedIn. This is the place to be.
Okay. That's what we see as well. There's a few people, like there's a few older forums that some people still frequent. I know our friend Frank Lamb has a community website that he started out of his trainings, but it really seems like the majority of these discussions and these connections are being made on LinkedIn. And inbox Michael for work. I mean, a lot of us have actually gotten, contracts, collaborations, podcasts through the connections you make on LinkedIn. So if you're listening to this and you've been lurking on LinkedIn and you're not active, I would highly encourage you to become more active. You don't have to put out your own content. Just engage with other people. if there's any particular area of interest you have, either in learning or something that you're learning, share it. I think at this point, there's enough of us that really share that let's share what we know and what we're learning mindset, that we can all just add to each other's resources and our networks, and we can accomplish more together, whether it's across the sea or, you know, your neighboring state, or in my case, like even in the same city, there's people that I interact with on LinkedIn more than I do in real life, because I really don't want to drive an hour. It's really convenient just to be able to ping someone and have a conversation and then a video call or record a podcast.
So now that we've done this phone call for an hour, can we come hang out at your house in Germany?
Of course, I have also a small pool, but the weather is not so nice.
We will be quiet so we don't make noise in your house when we stay over.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So I also have a garage.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, that might be cold, so we'll come in the summer then.
Yeah.
The closest I've been to where you are is Darmstadt. Is that anywhere close? Or is that a different part?
No, this is close. I think it's a little bit more than half an hour by car. Yeah.
Half an hour by car. That's like, to me, that's in my neighborhood.
Yeah,
that's the same thing. Like, the US is so big.
Yes. So the biggest is to go to Hamburg or to Munich, and this to Munich, I think about 4 hours. To Hamburg, about 6 hours. Yeah, and that's it. So you can reach everything by car. Yeah.
Yeah. So here in the state of Texas, I can drive for 8 hours and still not leave the state. But like coming from somewhere like Iceland, which is so small, to me, that just is
true.
It's insane. But yeah, so we are up on time. Is there any last minute additions anyone wants to make, Ali or Michael, before we start?
I would just want to say that, like, I wasn't in the frame, but I was listening to him talking about how even Siemens sometimes asks them for help. And so you, as a company, like anyone in the US wants to build a relationship with the entirety of like Grollmus, because there's no reason you shouldn't do that. Yeah. And so I mean, if you want to be on the forefront of whatever Siemens is going to do, these are your partners for that. And at the same time, they're also your partners for cybersecurity, which is the most emerging thing right now. So really, they've got everything covered. So you should hit them up. And if you don't hit them up, like I'm going to hit them up. And so
thank you very much.
And you know they'll be supported by the experts at Grollmus underneath.
There you go.
Okay, well then that's our sales pitch for the day. Also, like and follow us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel and on LinkedIn. And we hope to have some more videos coming out later this year as we increase the size of our team at Automation Ladies. Right now we have 0 time for it. So if you see our videos, they are completely unedited and live and just sit on LinkedIn and YouTube where they got streamed. Conversations like this have no video out anywhere yet because we have no time or expertise in video editing. If you do and you hear this and you want to be part of our team, hit me up in the DMs on LinkedIn or Nikki at automationladies.io. Bye-bye.